Evolution of Gromit. Gromit, a young beagle, Wallace's pet and a best friend, appears first as a main character in the 1989 claymated short, A Grand Day Out, which is the first production in the Wallace and Gromit franchise. Here he is shown with a cream-colored short-haired coat and oversized, floppy dark brown ears, while not having a visible mouth and expressing himself through facial expressions and body language. He also alternates between walking on his hind legs and walking on all fours. Additionally, he's very intelligent, being very proficient with electronic equipment and an excellent plane pilot. In the story, Gromit assists Wallace in building a rocket and then piloting it to go to the moon, believing it to be made of cheese, something his friend was very fond of. However, shortly after arriving, they encounter a strange, coin-operated, oven-shaped robot that first tried to prevent them from eating the cheese and then followed them, leading them to think it was chasing after them for stealing the cheese, which caused them to try to escape and then wave back as they were ascending. Gromit appears next in the 1993 claymated short, The Wrong Trousers, where he can be seen doing his other hobbies, such as knitting, reading newspapers and books, and cooking, as well as listening to Bach and solving puzzles. The story begins on the morning of February 12th, which is revealed to be Gromit's birthday, and after he subtly attempts to remind Wallace about this fact, he is gifted with several presents. The first one is a collar and a leash, which Gromit clearly doesn't welcome, and the second one is a pair of robotic techno trousers to take him on walks, which isn't a lot better, as shown when Gromit takes everything off and puts on a toy dog. In addition to that, soon after, Gromit gets very upset and estranged when Wallace decides to rent a room to a penguin, which takes away his room and causes him to relocate, as well as later takes an interest in Gromit's trousers and secretly rewires them for remote control. Gromit, being the brains of the duo, later gets suspicious, and then finds out the true identity and the secrets of the penguin, Feathers McGraw, a criminal who disguises himself as a chicken by wearing a red rubber glove on his head. Following this, he tries to stop Feathers and his evil plans, demonstrating his loyalty and love for Wallace, even at gunpoint, not wavering in his attempts to save his friend. At the end, he manages to reprogram the trousers and break free out of the wardrobe, where they were locked in, catch Feathers in a milk bottle, and then, using all his presents, take and imprison him in the city zoo. In the 1995 special, The Lenny Henry Christmas Show, in the parody sketch of the previous 1993 short, The Right Trousers, Gromit appears as his strange version, with human eyes and wearing his red collar. Here, he ends up saving Wallace from an assault by a woman after he builds himself dancing trousers to impress and attract women by activating them and interrupting the situation. Gromit reappears in the 1995 animated short, A Close Shave, where he is shown to have started a new window washing business called Wash N Go at 62 West Wallaby Street and is working together with Wallace. One day, after they went to clean the windows of a wool shop owned by a woman named Wendeline Ramsbottom, who had a dog, Preston, and then got home, they discovered their house in shambles, the cause of which was a small sheep that escaped from Wendeline's farm. After this, Gromit and Wallace decided to use him to test Wallace's new machine, the Knit-O-Matic, which ends up causing the sheep to be badly shorn, earning him the name Shaun the Sheep. Soon after, Gromit and Wallace unintentionally uncover a secret sheep rustling operation, led by Preston himself, who manages to frame and imprison Gromit for his crimes, as well as intends to turn them all into dog food as revenge. However, after Gromit is helped to escape, he flies a plane, which shoots porridge, into Preston's lair, where he manages to save Wallace and others by sucking him into Wallace's machine, destroying him, and eventually uncovering his mechanical body, as well as getting exonerated at the end as a result. In the animated TV show, Angry Kid, Gromit can be seen, together with Wallace, in the episode Speed, on a mug while sitting on a motorbike. Gromit cameos twice in the animated TV show, The Simpsons, first in the episode HOMR, on a booth at a convention in an image with Wallace, and then in the episode Angry Dad, the movie, as a parody of Wallace and Gromit, where he appears as Crumble in Better Gnomes and Gardens. Next, Gromit appears in the claymation miniseries Wallace and Gromit's Cracking Contraptions as a titular protagonist. In every episode, Gromit is shown to express skepticism every time Wallace creates his new inventions, which often end up not working properly, combined with some slapstick humor. As shown in the episode The Telescope, where Gromit gets frustrated with Wallace, who had created a mechanism to access his TV set without leaving his chair, by launching a tennis ball into a hole in the wall after he hands Wallace the TV remote. But he throws it into the hole instead of using it normally, which causes the TV to shoot across the room and pin Wallace to the wall. Gromit appears next in the 2005, first animated movie in the franchise, Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Here at the beginning, he is shown in several photos in his past. In one he is just a puppy, and in the other he is older and is a graduate of the Dogwarts University, where he earned his double first in engineering for dogs. In the story, Gromit has started working as a humane pest control worker, together with Wallace, called Anti-Pesto, and catching rabbits around the town in order to protect the other residents' vegetables in preparation for the annual giant vegetable competition. On a personal note, Gromit is also shown trying to help Wallace lose a bit of weight by eating more vegetables instead of cheese. Sometime after, Gromit is shown saving Wallace after he had created the mind manipulation o-matic machine to brainwash the rabbits and, in the process, got into an accident with one of the rabbits. However, despite Gromit destroying the machine, it still appears to have worked, since the rabbit did lose interest in vegetables and Wallace got accidentally changed into a huge rabbit. As signs of his true love, care, and loyalty, as soon as Gromit finds out about what had happened to Wallace, he tries his very best to do everything to help and protect Wallace from the angry town mob, seeking to kill him in fear. At the end, Gromit is initially shown to be extremely sad and crying after Wallace had fallen to the ground from a roof, thinking he would die. But then, after getting an idea and actually using some stinking bishop cheese for him to smell, successfully turning Wallace back to normal and then happily reuniting with his best friend. The 2006 animated movie Flushed Away shows Gromit in a photo with Wallace, as well as a pencil topper. Next, Gromit appears in the TV series The South Bank Show, in the episode Nick Park and Aardman Animations, in a unique claymation animation with Melvin Bragg, in which robotic arms do his makeup and Gromit bumps him with the boom mic. Gromit can be seen during the 2007 European Star Wars fan convention in a video using a lightsaber on the tunnel set of Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. In the silent, claymated series Shaun the Sheep, Gromit makes several cameos, first in the episode If You Can't Stand the Heat, on a fan being used at the beginning, and then in the dog show, appearing as a gold dog trophy. Next, Gromit appears in the 2008 animated short, A Matter of Loaf and Death, where he and Wallace are shown running their new door-to-door delivery service from their bakery Top Bun. One day, during their usual delivery, they manage to save a woman, Piella Bakewell, who is a former pin-up model for the Bako Light Bread Company, and her poodle Fluffles when the brakes on her bicycle broke. But, upon closer examination, Gromit noticed that the brakes were completely fine, provoking his suspicions. Interestingly, here, Gromit is shown for the first time to fall in love with someone, specifically, Fluffles, with whom he eventually saves Wallace from Piella, who is later revealed to be the serial killer who murders bakers. The science-themed mini-show, Wallace and Gromit's World of Invention, features Gromit, together with Wallace, in the animated claymation segments with side plots connected to that episode's theme. Gromit appears in the 2012 annual orchestral concert called Wallace and Gromit's Musical Marvels, in the new animated scenes placed between the orchestral pieces. Here he is shown saving the musical night after Wallace unsuccessfully tried to perform his own music and ended up destroying both the piano and his invention by composing his own musical piece and performing it on a priceless Stradivarius violin, after which he is congratulated and gifted a bouquet by Wallace. In the 2015 documentary, A Grand Night In, the story of Aardman Gromit is shown, together with Wallace, in the snippets from the previous movies, as well as in the interlaced segments, where he and Wallace are watching the documentary on the TV. The 2018 animated movie, Early Man, features Gromit during the credits as well as in the teaser image for the movie. Gromit reappears in the 2018 ITV special, We Are Most Amused and Amazed, which is a part of the celebration of Prince Charles' 70th birthday, in the animated segments, alongside Wallace, talking over a video call with the prince himself. In the 2019 animated movie, A Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, Gromit cameos in a drawing on a classroom's wall. Next, Gromit cameos in the 2024 dancing contest show, Strictly Come Dancing, as a guest, together with Wallace, during the semi-finals, reading the show's voting terms and conditions, as the lead-up to the 2024 movie sequel. In the 2024 second full-feature movie sequel, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, Gromit appears, living his life as usual, until Wallace starts creating his new invention, a robotic garden gnome, Norbot, as well as a business for hiring it out to work in local gardens. Gromit gets constantly annoyed with the gnome because of its attempts to take over his role while ruining his careful work in the process, as well as its loud recharging at night, which makes Gromit relocate it to the basement and plug it into a computer to charge. Unfortunately, as Gromit will later investigate and uncover himself, their old foe, Feathers McGraw, had found out about the gnome and managed to reprogram it to serve him and create an army of gnomes. At the end, after Gromit followed the gnomes closely, almost dying in the process, he found Feathers himself, and with a boot-shooting machine, he and Wallace managed to wake the gnome army up and together try to stop Feathers. With Gromit ending up fooling Feathers into thinking he has succeeded in stealing the diamond, and Feathers still managing to run away.